We need to discuss everyone because things have just grown more serious. Jim Jones has been taken into jail, and this isn't a small problem that will be settled fast based on what is surfacing. This scenario may fundamentally transform his life. Probably asking, wait, what did Jim Jones get locked up for? And you're not alone, I tell you. Despite the extreme specifics, it seems from the accounts that this is more than a single incident. There are complaints of money laundering, racketeering, and even links to some important persons behind the scenes. Let's start by analyzing the allegations of racketeering. For those who are unfamiliar, racketeering normally refers to organized crimes such as fraud, illicit commercial operations, and in some cases violent crimes. If Jim is being charged with them, it shows that the federal government believes he was not just participating, but maybe leading or helping in the operation of some form of criminal network. Jim has always been accused of having links to criminal groups, so this isn't a surprise discovery. Do you remember his name came up during Tekashi 69's trial back in 2019? Tekashi effectively confirmed Jim's relationship with the Nine Tree Gangster. Throughout his testimony, while Jim never explicitly addressed the claims, the internet was ablaze with conjecture about whether he was genuinely engaged or had just been caught in street politics. Jim is also accused of money laundering. This being the case, we must address his financial activities. As you can see, Jim has made investments in a range of enterprises, real estate, garment brands, and even Bitcoin throughout the years. Because the government does not play a part in financial crimes, some individuals are asking if those business activities were all genuine, or if the feds feel he was moving money in an unlawful way. Pay attention. Rear seat was rapper Jim Jones, 41 years old, and his true name is Joseph Jones. The deputy says when he pulled behind the automobile on the interstate, he noticed the smell of marijuana. He informed me over the phone that it was so powerful he smelt it before he even spotted the vehicle weaving down the road, and when he stopped beside it, he said front seat. Passenger Darnell Wright switched on the inside dome light. According to reports, the authorities have had their eyes set on Jim for more than a year. They don't simply decide to haul you away one day when things go weird. Jim has apparently been under observation for, according to those who say that the whole thing was a setup. Law enforcement employed wiretaps and secret recordings to make their case against him. And if history is any indicator, the feds are usually not lying when they reveal such data. Another possibility that is gaining momentum is that there was an informant involved, since someone close to the organization regularly switches and starts working with the government in instances like these. Some fans have previously claimed that someone in Jim's social circle may have been supplying law enforcement with information because, let's face it, if they had adequate facts to prosecute him with money laundering and racketeering, they weren't only thinking someone was really. Not to add that Jim has encountered similar scenarios. In 2018, he was arrested in Georgia after a police chase in which they found cocaine in his car. He eventually signed a plea deal, avoiding major prison time, but the allegations are significantly more severe this time, and the federal government, Chrissy, didn't immediately release a comment after Jim's arrest, but sources claim she has been in full damage control mode ever since. Chrissy has been working behind the scenes to establish what is truly occurring and if Jim would be able to defend these allegations. According to those acquainted with the matter, she ultimately broke her silence. People started to ask why she was so silent. According to accounts, Chrissy published a social media message about supporting the people you care about during tough times. While some fans read it as proof that she would always ride with Jim, others feel she is merely trying to analyze things before making a public remark. Okay, in the hip-hop culture, being engaged in a RICO-like case often signals that someone in your circle was talking, so when a rapper gets imprisoned, the first thing to know is who snitched. Rumor has it that Jim didn't expect this one. You see, the federal government doesn't simply come up and haul someone into prison without a solid cause. They utilize bank records, wiretaps, and informants to make RICO accusations. In Tekashi 69's case, for example, he eventually collaborated with law authorities and testified against his own group after being engaged in the Nine Trey Gangster case. Result: Tekashi obtained a reduced sentence, but his co-defendant spent decades in jail. Next up is Alpo Martinez, a significant figure in the drug trade in the past, who switched and snitched on his whole organization when the pressure was on him. Jim's name was now been connected with the 9 Trey case. In fact, during his court testimony, Tekashi called Jim a member of the group. Although Jim didn't answer the allegations at the time, there were reports that he was being monitored. And now that he has been arrested, all 4, rapper Jim Jones and Darnell Wright, were finally hauled into arrest. According to deputies Jamal Smith and Anna Miles, all 4 are charged with narcotics possession. The males are also charged with possession of a handgun in the commission of a felony. Recovered a stolen firearm in the back seat, where they believe Jones and Jamal Smith were. Some individuals are asking whether someone in his organization chose to collaborate with the federal government, since tracing the paper trail is something that the feds adore. Let's speak about money, and guess what? A couple of Jim's business transactions were a little suspicious. Jim has involved in a variety of financial pursuits over the years, including real estate, fashion, and even cryptocurrencies. Although everything looks genuine on the surface, feds generally look further. Let us analyze it. Jim has made investments in a variety of properties, and real estate may sometimes be used as a form of money laundering. It's probable that the federal government was monitoring the source and destination of his finances. Significant financial flows that cannot be explained will attract attention. Jim may have come to the feds' notice if he was moving monies in an unaccounted-for way. Jim may have faced criticism if he partnered with someone who was already the focus. During an investigation, the authorities regularly use this strategy to develop cases. If they find strange transactions, they begin by raising inquiries before starting to monitor conversations, emails, and even social media. It's game over if they connect financial activity to any illegal activities. When one person falls, the federal authorities start looking everyone, which is when things start to get sticky. To be honest, Jim has a lot of connections in the sector, so it's unclear who else they are considering. We must first address Dipit. According to TMZ, rapper Jim Jones has been arrested in Coweta County. According to their report, Jones was in the rear seat of a vehicle that Coweta County officers pulled down following a pursuit. Jones was detained for possession of narcotics and a pistol. In the report, sheriff's deputies stated that when police attempted to pull over the car, they raced off, sparking a pursuit, according to TMZ. During the chase, the automobile collided with the deputy's vehicle before ultimately coming to a halt. Jones and 3 other individuals were inside the car, and deputies claimed they discovered marijuana, oxycodone, Percocet, and other substances. They also say they discovered 2 loaded firearms and cash with Cameron. Joel Santana, Freaky Zeke, and Jim Jones' Dipset has always had a certain notoriety, a couple of its members having had previous legal difficulties, and several of their songs make allusion to street life. Law enforcement had already been following Dipset, as proven by Joel Santana's 2018 arrest for gun possession at an airport, even though it had nothing to do with Dipset's other industry links, which include working with artists like Meek Mill and Rick Ross, as well as being connected to well-known hip-hop artists like Lil Wayne and Jay-Z. In circumstances like this, the feds don't just focus on one person. If Jim was involved in any illegal activity, they will begin scrutinizing everyone he has been doing business with. Let's now address this mug photograph, since many were expecting Jim to seem uncomfortable and humiliated when his booking photo was posted, but this guy appeared pleased, almost as if he had expected it. Let's face it, most individuals who are detained act astonished. Jim's tranquil, practically disinterested look had folks talking. This isn't the first time we've seen a cool, collected mug picture from a rapper. Do you remember Gutsy Mane? 21 Savage kept his mug show calm and serious when he was hauled up by ICE, creating the appearance that the guy was ready to release an album naturally. We also must forget Young Thug, who scarcely replied at all to being charged with what is wrong with Jim's reaction. Then there are a few of choices. He presumably knew an arrest was impending. If the authorities had been keeping eyes on him for more than a year, it is easier to remain composed when you have expectations. Perhaps Jim isn't worried because he knows that his lawyers are prepared to defend this issue. Remember that Jim is as a street icon and rapper. He would hate to look weak in front of everyone. But the fundamental issue is if this confidence is genuine or just a front, since no amount of calm would shield him from what's about to happen if the feds have strong proof. The key issue now is whether Jim will lose or whether he will make the final comeback because, let's face it, some individuals manage to evade these accusations while others do not. The three most possible outcomes are as follows. First, he takes various bribes. Famous individuals in these situations eventually agree to a bargain to avoid obtaining hefty terms. Jim could agree to a lower sentence rather than face a lengthier bid at trial if the authorities have adequate proof. The second option is that he contests it in court. Will go to trial if he and his counsel believe he will win, but it is perilous since he might suffer a hefty sentence if he loses. Third, this becomes a more broad investigation, and the government may seek further persons if Jim isn't the only one involved. Soon make additional arrests if they suspect he is a part of a larger plot. We also got the chance to discuss Chrissy. If you're acquainted with their relationship, you're aware that she supports Jim and remains by him no matter what. As a result, it's not unexpected if things become nasty during the trial. Will she remain? Will she be able to express herself more? Time will tell. This is silly, as I'm sure you all have. Please leave a remark below. Please let me know if you feel Jim is. He was guilty of being manipulated, and will Chrissy was there for him through everything. In your perspective, that finishes. Just when we thought we'd seen it all, new receipts have leaked that might shock the whole love and hip-hop community. Chrissy and Mendeecees' poisonous connection has finally been uncovered, revealing what is actually going on behind the scenes and how these two even got tied up in this web of drama, treachery, and straight-out ugliness. And why is Yandy losing her mind over it? Something isn't right, and we have the facts we're talking about: leaked communications, secret gatherings, and murmurs of a link so dark that even the most loyal followers are astonished. Was this the final betrayal was planned all along? So grab your popcorn because this tea is steaming hot, and believe me, at the conclusion of this film, you'll never look back at Chrissy and Mendeecees the same way again. So slam that like button because we're going to delve deep into this complicated, jaw-dropping story, and you won't. We all know Chrissy as the no-nonsense, say it like it is queen, so buckle up because this one is going to get really nasty. From love and hip-hop, and then we have Mendeecees, Harris, Mr. I've changed, yet somehow constantly in the thick of some drama. But what if I told you these two have a lot more history than they're letting on? What if I told you there's proof that connects Chrissy and Mendeecees together in ways we didn't see coming? Let's just say it ain't beautiful. First, how do Chrissy and Mendeecees even know one another? Let's be honest, these two never truly crossed paths. Camera like that, but oh, behind the scenes another tale. Because back in the day before Men's ever teamed up with Yandy Smith, he was going in circles. Way too close to Chrissy world. We're talking late night business deals, shared pals, and let's just say, favors being swapped. Remember when Chrissy and Jim Jones were dealing with all of that financial trouble, and rumors were flying that money was being transferred in ways that weren't really legal? Sources claim, guess who was in the mix helping make those transactions disappear? Yep, Mendeecees himself, and wait, it gets worse. Chrissy and Jim Jones have always had a roller coaster relationship. We witnessed her propose to this man on national TV, only for him to turn around and avoiding marriage for more than a decade. But what if I told you that wasn't just Jim Jones being Jim Jones? What if there was another reason Jim Jones was acting so odd? Reason that includes a specific someone with a history of sneaking where he shouldn't be. You're following me here because this tea is going to reach boiling. So boom, Word on the street is Chrissy Lampkin and Mendeecees' bond ain't only about money. Oh no, see, we have sources stating there were talks concerning late-night gatherings, low-key rendezvous, and some pretty questionable activities between the two. And listen, I'd like to spread rumor, but then again, exactly what we are here to do. So get this, an unnamed source, someone close to the matter, recently leaked some disturbing facts regarding a period when Jim Jones was out of town for a few weeks. And guess who was conveniently observed slipping in and out of Chrissy Lampkin's former condo? You already know where this is heading. That's right, Mendeecees. And before you respond, oh, maybe he was just handling business, explain to me why these meetings were happening late at night. Why no one was meant to know about them. And let's speak about these so-called business transactions, because listen, when it comes to Mendeecees' company, it always gets a little more involved, if you know what I mean. And the weirdest thing was when Yandy got wind of this, she lost it. You know Yandy doesn't play when it comes to her. When this narrative began to circulate, sources indicate Yandy approached Mendeecees about his relationship to Chrissy Lampkin, and let's just say it didn't go well. She started pressing questions he couldn't answer. She started bringing out receipts he thought were buried, and the more she dug, the more things didn't line up. And yo, this is when things take a turn, because Mendeecees ain't deny nothing. No, instead he used the standard "why are you bringing up old stuff?" action. He told Yandy she was tripping. It wasn't what she assumed, that people just like to speak. But here's where he tripped up when Yandy questioned him on those late-night visits regarding the timing of some activities. He didn't say she was incorrect. He simply went extremely quiet. And if there's one thing we all know about guys who grow silent when their senses suggest something is up. And let's not forget Chrissy Lampkin and Yandy been beefing for years back in the day. Chrissy Lampkin made it very obvious she ain't respect Yandy. She labeled her dirty, rude, and even accused her of trying to control Jim's career. So now that Chrissy Lampkin and Mendeecees may have been moving around behind her back,